Welcome back to Let's Make a Game. In this video, I would like to continue talking about creating an inventory and shop system for your game. In particular, I'd like to talk about the latest change that I've made to the example code which you can download from itch.io. This change doesn't have any obvious effect in what the player will see. It's just a change that makes the code simpler. And you might say, well, it's probably not worth making a change like that because even if you didn't do it in the best possible way, it's still done now. And rather than do it again, it would be better to spend that time adding new features. Arguably, that's true. The counter-argument would be that A, it gets you in the habit of thinking about how to make your code simpler, and that is a good habit to have. In future, you might think of a simpler way to do the code before you code it. And secondly, you might argue that the simpler the code is, the less there is to go wrong. And so you might be saving yourself some trouble down the road. But rightly or wrongly, that is the change that I've made. What the change does is make it much easier for the program to tell whether the player is in a shop or a normal location. What we did previously is some items had a location that was negative. So these two items have a location of -3. And that meant that they were in location 3, but they were stock in a shop that was available for sale, rather than a loose item that the player could pick up. And when we got to a new location, we'd look through all of the items and see if there was any whose location was 0 minus the current location number. And if that was the case, we knew we were in a shop. Well, that seemed overly complicated. So I thought, well, why don't we just give shops a negative number for their location? So locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. will be normal locations. Locations -1, -2, -3, etc. will be shops. That way we just have to say, well, is the location number greater than 0? Then it's not a shop. Is it less than 0? It is a shop. And thus we change, well, we didn't have to change anything in the items because we just changed location 3 to -3. So this item already is given a location of -3. It's just that that number means something slightly different now. So we can just leave that, but we do have to change the $place array. And the changes we made are where we were setting $place 3, we just changed that to -3, and place 2 connected to place 3, we have to change the 3 in the list of its neighbours to -3. And you might think that that's the only changes that you need to make, but you will often find that when you make small changes, other bits of the code need to be changed. There's sort of 5 or 6 other things that you need to update because the code is relying on variables being a particular way. In this case, variables being greater than 0. And that was certainly true for this. I won't go through every single one of them, but I will give you an example. We had this line when we were printing the buttons that allow the player to move around the environment. We had if $place, $location, $z is greater than 0, meaning that if there was a neighbour in a particular direction. Well, this won't come up if that number is -3. So I had to change it to does not equal 0. That's what this exclamation mark equals means. It just means does not equal. There are lots of little fiddly changes like that that you'll often find that you need to do. But the result of that is that when we're deciding whether the player is in a shop or in a normal location, we can get rid of all of these lines of code that we had that scan through the items and see if there's any one that's in the negative of their current location. And we can just say, if $location is greater than 0, well then we're in a non-shop location. Else, we're in a shop location, and we do all the shop stuff. So that is an example of a change that I made. There are certainly other things that we could do to this program that are more substantial. For example, at the moment, there's not really any way to have a single item that is for sale in more than one shop, or an item that is both lying around somewhere and also for sale in a shop. And we might want to have both of those things. So that's something that we'll look at in the future, but I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.